Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Logan's World by William F. Nolan. I almost said the wrong author name there. That's why I had to check. So Logan's World. This old book is from Bantam, it looks like. There's that little rooster there. So this is a retro review. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to put links down below for where to get this book, unless you want to find used copies. So this is a sequel to the classic science fiction novel / movie, Logan's Run. And to talk about this, I'm going to have to spoil the end of the book, Logan's Run, a little bit, which is different from the movie. The book is very different from the movie. Well, 50% different? Is that a way to say how something is different? But at the end of that book, without going into all of the details of Logan's Run, I suppose there might be somebody who's not familiar. So, Logan's Run, set in a dystopian future. Since I'm talking about the book, when you turn 21, you're supposed to die. You're supposed to go to these places where you give up your life. It's keeping population down. So 21, you're dead. But some people don't like that. So they become runners. And then you have these people called the Sandmen that hunt the runners down and kill them. Logan is one of the greatest Sandmen that there is. And he is tasked with going undercover as a runner to find this pipeline to Sanctuary and try to put an end to it. And everybody has these crystals in their hand, and it changes color every 7 years because you're considered essentially a child until you're 7. You're in the place called a nursery. I guess I am going to get into this. And then at 14, it changes again. And then at 21, it turns black because you're supposed to die. This computer that runs things makes Logan's turn black, so he has to become a runner. He hooks up with this female runner named Jessica, and he actually realizes that maybe the system is flawed, and he becomes a real runner. At the end of the book, they find Sanctuary. They get to a rocket ship, and there's a guy that is running this pipeline, and he takes successful runners, people that can make it to the ship, takes them up to a space station called Argo. And that's the Sanctuary. That's where runners who survive get to go. That's the end of the first book. So now, in the first page and a half, we learn that Argo is falling apart. There's thousands and thousands of people there. They're living their lives. Logan and Jessica have had a son who's 8 at this point, I think. But the supply rockets stop coming, and everything stops falling apart because Argo is not a self-sustaining system. People start dying. They're getting down to just hundreds of people on the space station instead of thousands. And so they pick like a dozen people to go down to Earth to try to figure out, because they have a ship that only hold about a dozen people. They're going to take it down to Earth, find out what's wrong. And Logan, Jessica, and their son Jack are among the 12 that are going down. So that's all like in the first page and a half or so. So now Logan, Jessica, and Jack are living in this mansion by the Potomac, and basically somebody destroyed the computer that was running the world, and the guy that was running the runner's pipeline, whatever you want to call it, is gone. So no more ships, and they're just roving bands. This is like Mad Max now, roving bands of people. Cities have been taken over by scavengers. There's just, it's craziness. And Logan, Jessica, and Jack are trying to live in this world. But Jack is sick, so Logan has to go out. There's a specific medicine that he's going to need to help Jack. He has to go out into this world and get it. And things happen Now, here's the hard part, because from this point on, if I go into any detail at all, I think it's going to spoil some of the big things that happen. So, I can say Logan travels around the country. He has encounters with different groups. Some are friendlier than expected. Some are savage. Some he runs into people he used to know. He makes new friends out of some strangers. Now, I do not remember Logan's Run being as dark and violent as this is. And while there are no depictions of rape, there's a lot of talk about people being raped. Basically, anytime someone's talking about these roving bands of people, they're like, oh yeah, they just rape and murder anybody that they come across. If they can't use them for something, they just rape and murder them. A lot of rape talk, a lot of murder talk. There are some murders depicted, killings. No rapes depicted, but a lot of talk about it. So this is very pulpy science fiction. Came out in 1977. This has a copyright of 1977. So, it's not that there wasn't hard science fiction back then, but this is the type that this is pulp. This is the stuff I like. I'm a big fan of the original novel, big fan of the movie. So I was lucky enough to find this and its sequel at Half Price Books. And yeah, if you're a fan of Logan's Run, then give this a try. Just, again, know that I think it's a lot darker, and some of there are twists and turns that I can't talk about, but shocking. There are some shocking things that happen, and I'm not talking about because of the violence. It's not extreme or anything. It's just some of the choices the author makes in the story are shocking, but I like that. And I like that illustration. There was a TV show, Logan's Run TV show as well. I really enjoyed that. But I gave this 3 out of 5 on Goodreads because it didn't blow me away. I don't think it's as good as the original, as Logan's Run, but it is fun, pulpy, dystopian science fiction. And Logan, if he wasn't 21 yet when he went undercover as a runner, and if it's been 8 years, he's not even 30. He's maybe 30, and I think in the movie it's like 35 when you die. So he's still younger than he was in the movie. But yeah, anyway. I don't know what that has to do with anything. I'm just thinking out loud at this point. But yeah, Logan's Run, William F. Nolan, good pulpy fun. I liked it. It's well written, pretty straightforward. It doesn't get like deep into the science of the science fiction. You just have to, and there's even some I don't want to say supernatural, but paranormal maybe. There's people with psychic powers in this one. So that's not a spoiler. It's not a twist. It's just something that comes up. But so yeah, the writing doesn't get deep into the science. We're just told that this is what these guns do. This is what this thing does. This is what this thing does. It doesn't explain how it does it. You don't have to worry about how it does it. You just have to go along for the ride with Logan in Logan's world. So there you go. I will see if there's links for the book that I can put in the comments or the description below. Normally I have links for Amazon, or if it's a small press publisher, I try to put their links in. But I don't know if this is available anywhere outside of used copies. So there you have it. Logan's World. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on the Low Budget Review Show. This video's question is something. Let me think. I could ask if you're a fan of Logan's Run, if you've seen the movie and enjoyed it, if you've read the book and enjoyed it, if you've seen the TV show. So we could talk about that. Or how do you feel? Do you enjoy pulp science fiction where there's no hard science? It's just, this is the world we're in, accept it. We're not going to explain how anything works. That's just the way it is. Or, wow, you're getting lots of questions this time. Should I do these retro reviews where I'm not promoting something that's necessarily going to be easy for people to find and read? Although I suppose libraries still exist, so and digital copies. But is this something you want to see? I do have some older books that I'm going to read. I have the third Logan book, which I'll be reading hopefully relatively soon, within the next few months. Do you want to see reviews for that sort of thing, or do you want me to stick with more up-to-date stuff? A lot of writers rightly say that, any review for any book helps. Doesn't matter if it's a new book or if it's an old book. But then again, something like this, if you can only find used copies, you're not helping the author any. So, do you like Logan's Run? Should I do retro reviews? And how do you feel about pulpy science fiction? 3 questions for the price of 1 video. All right, so let's talk about that in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comics, board games, and fuzzy animals, is EricSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. That's it. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.